Rylesy, what is our next keyword or phrase to search for a new story? Museum. Ooh. Am I the hole for refusing to take my nieces and nephews out to fun places anymore since my sister won't help with the bill? Instantaneously not the asshole. My little sister has 6 kids, 10 male, 7 female, 6 and 6 female, twins, 4 male, 2 female, who I love to babysit when I can. I'm child free and my husband and I have a decent amount of fun money saved for us to spend on whatever we want. And I'd use mine sometimes to take my nibblings fun places. I still take them all out somewhere at least 2 to 3 times a month. With just one kid, it was pretty easy to do. Then the second oldest came along and I was able to swing it. But then with the addition of the twins, it became harder to afford. Not to mention watching 4 kids, it was way harder than watching one. By the time the 4-year-old came around, I couldn't afford to take them all to the same places anymore. It cost too much. So I started taking them to cheaper and free places like the park, free kids day at the museum, the mall, swimming at my house, etc. Now with the 2-year-old, I've totally stopped taking them anywhere that costs more than a couple bucks each. Well, last week when I was dropping the kids off at my sister's place, the oldest asked if we could go to the fair next month. I didn't think I'd be able to afford that, but didn't want to outright say no, so I told him I wasn't sure, but we'd see. After the kids ran off, my sister asked why I wasn't sure about the fair, and I told her I don't think I'd be able to afford tickets and food for 7 people. She said it couldn't cost that much, so I told her that each ticket was about $10 the last time we'd gone, and that wasn't counting the money that we spent on food. I said I'd be happy to take him to the fair if she paid for at least the tickets. She went off saying that she and brother-in-law didn't have that kind of money. They had 8 mouths to feed and clothes to buy, and she couldn't waste money at the fair. I asked why she thought I was made of money, and she said I had more money than them, and it's not like I have 6 kids to care for. I told her I loved taking the kids out, but if she couldn't help me with paying for the expensive places, and the kids would have to be content with going to the park or swimming at my house. Sister said I'm a huge a-hole, and when I told our parents, they said it was sort of a-hole-ish, since I only take them out a couple times a month instead of carrying them 24/7 like my sister. They're not your kids to take care of. What do you mean? Only a couple times a month is so much. What do you mean? 2 edits. Big, really substantial edit. I want to thank everyone for all the amazing comments and DMs. After all the resounding not the a-hole comments, I've come to the conclusion that I'd become used to my family's treatment of me over the years. I'd always been aware it wasn't really fair, but I put up with it to keep the peace and to see my nibblings regularly. But I can't keep spending such outrageous amounts of money on kids that aren't even mine anymore, especially when I'm not even getting a half-cheeked thank you in return. It's not fair to me. So I called my sister and told her I won't be taking the kids out for fun days for the foreseeable future. I told her that she's being really entitled to expect me to foot the bill to babysit her kids, and if she apologizes sincerely, then I might start taking them out again sometime in the future. But for now, I'm going to keep my distance. She didn't take it well, called me a lot of hurtful names before hanging up on me. Not long after, my mom called me and told me I was being selfish and rude. Do I need to grab the mirror again? Do I need to hold the mirror up to you again? Do you not see that you're being the weird, rude, and inconsiderate one? Like, what do you mean? But I snapped at her that she was being rude, expecting me to pay upwards of hundreds of dollars a month for kids that I didn't give birth to, while coddling my sister was shitty parenting. And I said how sick and tired I was of being treated like free babysitting for my sister just because I never popped out any grandkids for them. And if she and my sister thought taking all the kids out 3 times a month was no big deal, then I'll send her the bill, which I did. I sent her pictures of the receipts from the last 3 places I took my nieces and nephews, each one being no less than $70. She hasn't called or texted me back. I'll see what happens. Thanks, everyone. To everyone thinking I'm cutting all contact with my nibblings, I'm not. I said I wouldn't be taking them out to fun activities, aka expensive places anymore. I still fully plan to go see them and hang out with them, but until my sister apologizes, I won't be doing the pricey weekly outings anymore. Yeah, easy, not the a-hole. 100%. Your mother and your sister are both being extraordinarily entitled and are abusing you and taking advantage of you, not only for your time and for free babysitting, but to give their children experiences that they can't or don't want to without helping at all. Unfortunately, most of these situations, it's the kids who suffer, but it's the parents who are the problem. Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, absolutely. She wants her kids to have the experiences, but she doesn't want to pay for it. Yeah, that's what it seems like. And that's when you get down to it, she's just a bad parent. She's just a bad parent. That's it. And the winner is Ms. Breck. Ms., what's our word? Stormlight? Interesting. Okay. Let's run it back. We'll run it. The post has 126 upvotes. Am I the whole for the way I read books? Naked and upside down. That's the way that I would like to watch someone read books. Does that count? Early on in our relationship, my boyfriend lent me the first book of Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archives. It's a very lengthy book, paperback version. He lent me is 1,280 pages. When he brought it over, I incorrectly assumed that it was a copy and that no one had read it because the spine of the book was completely unbent and it looked like it could have come directly off of a bookstore shelf. I read and enjoyed the book. When I returned it, he commented on how rough I am on books. I was confused because I thought I had returned it in good condition. None of the pages were ripped or marked or written on. I used a bookmark to mark my place the whole time I was reading it. Turns out what he meant was that there were places in the spine of the book where you could tell the book had been opened, which I thought was normal after reading a paperback book, especially one that was over 1,200 pages. I asked last night if I could borrow the next book in the series. He said no, because I trashed the last one. I mean, fair enough. He is allowed to have rules for his things, but I'm curious what the other people think. Is it a reasonable expectation that someone not crease the spine of a 1,200 page mass market paperback? I guess just break up, honestly. Yeah, how do you read a paperback book without creasing the spine in any way? Especially one that's 1,200 pages. You literally can't open a book without impacting the book. That's what I thought, but I'll be fair, I'm a stickler. I like to keep my books as pristine as possible, even as I read them. But I tell people about that when I loan my books out. I don't really expect people to keep the same standards. Okay. I don't let people read my books either because people will break the spine. If you're this diligent about your books staying pristine, don't lend them out. Simple as that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I prefer pristine books when I own them. I think we are witnessing unfolding in real time a very real presentation, a very real example that the hobby of collecting books is very different from the hobby of reading books. Mass paperback book, like, buddy, just let your girlfriend enjoy the book and keep your own copy to look nice. Everybody wins. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like to make a good, I would need to see pictures of the book. Because, like, to me, it sounds like normal use of a paperback. You know what I mean? Yeah, breaking the spine is different than creases. True. Right. Like, I'm wondering if the boyfriend here is being hyperbolic and exaggeratory, or if OP is undermining the damage they did to the book. So our follow-up post in the comments. Yeah, let me see. I don't think that I can read a book of this length to the standard he is looking for. I'm a little sad that he won't lend me the next one, but I get it. I'm sure the local public library has copies. I mean, when you look at the back of the book, you can tell it has been read. I don't think anything out of the ordinary, but I didn't know before that this was possible to read an entire book of this length and have it visually be the exact same as a brand new unread book, which is why I'm asking the internet if maybe my perception of normal is in fact non-normal, right? He has definitely read them, as we have had detailed discussions of the characters in the plot. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed that he manages to keep them in basically brand new condition. I don't know how. In my many years as a reader and borrower of friends' books, I've never seen someone able to read a book as thick as these ones without opening it far enough to crease the spine of the book at least somewhat. Okay. You'd have to go extra lengths to prevent that. If he wanted that back in the condition, that he should have said so. That's what I'm thinking too, that it's not necessarily an unreasonable request to be like, hey, I don't want you to crease the spine of this book, but that's something that you should say beforehand, because I think it's pretty normal to like have a book be spread out especially when it's that big. It bothers me that BF didn't communicate that he wanted her to be careful with the book. Yeah, that's the issue here, is the what? Say it with me. Wow, I've never seen this before. The lack of communication. About to make your chat mad. Am I the only one that likes when books look like that? I can understand being a collector and wanting to keep your shit pristine, but I love this shit. That's a sexy book. I think she was making a mountain out of a molehill. To be honest, this post wasn't necessary at all. I mean, she's asking for an unbiased third party. Honestly, this is what Am I the Asshole should be for. I think this is what it is. I think this is the best use of r/Am I the Asshole. This post feels actually real, despite unlike some of the other shit that we've read. Like, it's incredibly low stakes for a post, which is exactly why he sucks. Right. I think it isn't that big of a deal, and the fact that he's like, no, you trashed my other book, so I'm not going to lend you another one. You didn't treat this book to keep it in absolutely pristine condition, with literally zero evidence of ever having been open, when I didn't tell you that beforehand. That's the part. Like, I don't care if that's how you read books. I don't care if that's how you want to treat your books. I don't care if you want to keep your books looking like they've never been touched before. That's your prerogative. I will respect your opinion and your items and the things that you own, because they're your books, they're your items. That's how you want them to be treated, you know? But you need to communicate that. I feel like that's literally the root of the issue here. Also, this post with 126 upvotes from 2 years ago has sparked more discussion than literally anything we've ever read before, and that's wild. And there's so many book enjoyers in chat that this is great. At least anything we've read today, for sure. This is something that I wouldn't even think about. I wouldn't dog ear it. I would use a bookmark instead of making notes. I wouldn't write on it. I would do my best to not damage it, but I feel like I would probably have creased this book too. I also don't want to damage someone's book unless you said, hey, make sure that you keep this pristine for me. Like, assumptions were made on both sides, because someone who doesn't want to who doesn't collect books to keep them pristine probably also wouldn't be top of mind for that, you know? I guess it's the conversation afterwards that really matters here. You trashed my book. To me, if someone lent me okay, I'm gonna put Bikake on blast here. I'm sorry, I'm using you as an example. If someone lent me a pristine, never before touched, it looks like it's never been opened book, and then they returned it and it looked like this, sure, you can count that as being trashed or whatever. But like, if it's literally, they described it as, you can tell the book has been opened. And that feels a little above and beyond for me. And that feels a little too specific. You know what I mean? Yeah. How much is this book? It is a $12 paperback. I'm going to say not the asshole, and the boyfriend is ambiguous. From the information that we are being given, that we can look at, it looks like they're like, communication needs to happen, whether it's before when the book is lent or afterwards, somewhere there needs to be more communication. I'm going to say not the asshole. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. You know what I mean? Oh my God. The context you have for the story is that we got here by searching for the word glitch. So just keep that in mind. Am I the hole for locking my husband out of our bedroom after our wedding reception? The title sounds bad, but hear me out. It's been so long. It's been so long. There it is. They said the thing. They said the thing. Let's go. We were high school sweethearts and met at 14. We dated for 6 years before getting married, and it was clear that he's always been extremely close with his mother. She's always been trying to convince him that we shouldn't be together. Even when we were teens, she was trying to break up. When we first announced our engagement, she freaked out. She told him, "You won't have a future with her. You're too young. You don't know what you're doing." She even told him he can do better than me. So the wedding reception came, and it was a small family affair at my older sister's house, since she has the yard space for our families to come. She never even came by to help us set up. It was mostly just my family and me. The entire reception was more like a party. It wasn't a traditional walk down the aisle wedding, but our most important family and friends were in attendance. The entire night, my soon-to-be husband sat at a table with his mom. I let it go because I didn't want to have a fight at our wedding. The entire night? At your own wedding? Your husband. Okay. I let it go because I didn't want to have a fight at our wedding. We still did traditional things like sharing vows, taking pictures, cutting the cake, etc. But besides those moments, it was like I barely saw him. When it came time to cut the cake, he took the first slice over to his mother. Boymom! I was upset because the first slice should go to the people actually getting married, but again, I let it slide. I spent my wedding at a table with my best friend and my 14-year-old brother-in-law. I don't have any commentary that you're not already thinking right now. It's the night after the reception, we got into it because he didn't help once with the wedding, and for all the reasons above. And just when we were getting home, he tosses the cake in the fridge without covering it or anything. Here's where I may be an a-hole, because I started asking him to wrap the cake, and we got into a huge fight about if it was fine or not. I felt just done with the whole day, went into our room and locked the door. I was so mad I eventually ended up falling asleep, and he slept on the couch on our wedding night. I didn't mean to fall asleep, I just wanted some space for a bit. We've been fighting on and off since, and his mother has called me a bridezilla more than once, so I'm starting to doubt myself. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say a bridezilla probably wouldn't have a very nonchalant, non-traditional wedding in the backyard of your sister's place. Bridezilla wouldn't just sit idly by and be like, yeah, my husband can spend literally our entire actual literal wedding sitting at the table with his mom. I'm starting to doubt myself. Am I the a-hole here for not allowing my new husband into our bedroom on our wedding night? Edit! I'm overwhelmed by the response, so I'll answer a few questions. Some people have said that I locked him out because of the cake argument. For me, it was the icing on the night. Pun not intended. I told him I needed space, and when I went into the room, I stayed on the floor crying until I fell asleep and apologized for it the next morning. Locking him out was not my intent, but intention rarely affects the impact of the actions, and I do see that. A few people suggested that he spent the wedding with his mom because she was alone. She wasn't. His father, his brother, his aunts, and cousins were all there. She absolutely was not the only member of his family on the guest list. Regardless of how it sounds, I do love him, which is why I agreed to marry him. His mother was against us because we met online. We were high school sweethearts and met at 14. We dated for 6 years before getting married. Oh, high school sweetheart as in we met in high school age. So they met online when they were 14. Okay. We have lived together for 2 years in a basement apartment, full bedroom, bath, living room, and kitchen that's connected to my mom's house, but that's to save money for now. The wedding felt like the next step in a relationship, but a lot of people are telling me we should have waited or to get an annulment or divorce. We have a lot of work to do, but I think it's not at that level yet. I'm going to try and catch up with all the comments, but there are so many notifications that when I scroll through them, it glitches and jumps to the top. And there it is. Reddit glitched on her 4 years ago when scrolling through notifications for the post. I'm a fan of a good rump roast, if you catch my drift. That's what I'm talking about. Slather that up in some good old hanky sauce. No!